Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Dan McLaughlin. I'm one of the TV voices of the St. Louis Cardinals. We have a beautiful day, do we not? This day is awesome. Now, let's make it a little bit more exciting. Do we not have a beautiful day? And we get to do this when the Cardinals have won 3 in a row, and that makes it even better. So welcome, everyone, to this very special day here in downtown St. Louis as we celebrate the return of baseball to Busch Stadium. And we're also celebrating the progress of Ballpark Village Phase 2 with a major construction milestone. Today, we'll be raising the beam to the top of the new Class A office tower. And we're so grateful that you're here with us today to mark this very, very important moment in our Cardinal history. Our speakers will have some exciting information to share with you about the $260 million expansion project of Ballpark Village Phase 2. Please join me in recognizing the DeWitts, the Cordish companies, and our local political leaders for supporting the vision of this project. Please give them a huge round of applause. And maybe most importantly, we also celebrate and honor the work of the men and women. And it's been a lot of work, a lot of long days. Bad weather, good weather, you can name it. They've been here day in and day out, of the skilled trades that are here every single day, and the power behind this project. Please give them a huge round of applause. Please allow me to introduce each speaker who will share a few words with you, and I'll join you again at the end to help raise the beam. Mr. Bill DeWitt III, the president of the St. Louis Cardinals. Mr. Nick Benjamin, Vice President of Development for the Cordish Companies. Mr. Howard Hayes, VP of Diversity and Inclusion for Parrott Corporation. Mr. John Tverdik, Managing Partner of the PwC St. Louis office. Mr. Paul Tyson, Associate of Investment Banking at Butcher, Joseph & Company. And finally, the Honorable Lyda Krewson, Mayor of the City of St. Louis. And with more on the project, Bill DeWitt III.
Thanks, Dan. We've had a lot of groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings so far, and obviously more to come, but we always seem to have lousy weather for those. I don't know why, but today it's a good omen, I think, as we top off this wonderful new building. And I want to start with some thanks, obviously with our partners with Cordish and Nick Benjamin and Parrott, doing such a great job working this project every day and making sure that it comes in on time and on budget and a really high quality level of finish for everybody. Our political leaders who are all here today, Mayor Krewson, Darlene Green, not here but instrumental in early voting on this project, Lewis Reed, our President of the Board of Aldermen, Phyllis Young was our first alderwoman that kicked this project off, and now Jack Kodar, instrumental in Phase 2, Otis Williams in the front here, very key in getting Phase 2 rolling. And I want to thank the union members and the skilled trades. Boy, this winter has been tough, and I see it from my office. I'm freezing in there. I got my space heater and my thing, and these guys are in their vests, and they're cranking and hanging steel in the cold and the rain, and my hat's really off to them for doing that. And hopefully they're going to have a little more enjoyment out here as they top things off and in a little better weather. 3 big announcements today, in addition to the fun ceremony of the beam going up top. First is that the name of this building will be the PwC Pennant Building. Obviously, thank you, PwC being our anchor tenant, and you'll hear from JT in a second. But the Pennant Building just felt like a neat supplementary name to give it a little bit of a baseball flair. And the building actually will have some pennants on it celebrating the Cardinals World Championships to give it a feeling of being part of the whole ballpark complex. Second big announcement is we have a new tenant in Butcher, Joseph. You'll hear from Paul Tyson earlier. My good friend Keith Butcher, represented by GT Kozad. Wonderful firm in Clayton that's moving downtown up-and-coming firm. You probably don't know a lot about it, but I can tell you they are a young group of professionals who really are going to embrace this downtown experience. Couldn't be more thrilled to have them down here. And then the third big announcement is the MBE and WBE milestones, really the inclusion and diversity milestones that PERIC's been able to achieve on this project so far, and more to come. A quick thing on the project schedule. July of this year, the Bush 2 infield gets replaced on the other side of the One Life Fitness building. Right now it's a pile of dirt, but we're fixing that back up and putting that back. We'll have a concert on that field in September. Taking Back Sunday is the name of the band. Raise your hand if you've heard of them. Come on. They're famous, trust me. This crowd may not be as hip as I thought. And then in September of this year, the building opens behind us. December of this year, the One Life Fitness building will open. And then in the first quarter of next year, the Live by Lowe's Hotel on the other side of this building will open. Also in the first quarter, the retail and the restaurants under this building, the hotel building, as well as across the way on the apartment tower. And then in this early summer of 2020, the One Cardinal Way residential tower will open. So kind of a rolling opening for all these buildings. And it'll be fun to watch because as you're catching games and coming here and there, you'll see the progress. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nick Benjamin. Thank you all for being in here. Enjoy this great weather. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks, Bill. It's really an honor for us at the Quarters Companies to be able to work on projects like Ballpark Village and the PwC Pennant Building with incredible partners like the Cardinals, Lowe's, PERIC, PwC, Butcher Joseph, and the city of St. Louis itself. I think the nature of who's involved in this project, from national and international to local companies, all the best at what they do, really speaks to the power of the Cardinals and the power of downtown St. Louis itself as engines for economic development. It's not often that you see 4 tower cranes on one site, but it's also not often that a project of this scale and complexity, with 125,000 square feet of new Class A office, 216 hotel keys, 297 apartment units, 75,000 square feet of new retail, and 983 parking spaces in 2 new garages, gets built all at once. There's nothing simple about this transformational $260 million project, but we started it with confidence, and we're more than halfway through with confidence because we have an incredible partner like PERIC standing shoulder to shoulder with us to help execute the vision that we developed with the talented PwC Pennant Building architects at HKS and Tao and Lee. Through one of the more difficult winters in recent memory, and with multiple elements proceeding on a fast pace simultaneously, PERIC and its team of dozens of union subcontractors have stayed on schedule and executed in the first-class way we knew that they would. The job they do is challenging, dangerous, full of pressure, and very, very deserving of recognition. Today is an extremely exciting milestone, a symbol that we've made it to the top of the PwC Pennant Building, and that the opening of the building is only a few months away. It's fitting that PwC will be the first tenant to move into Phase 2 of Ballpark Village. They were one of the first companies to share our belief in what downtown will be, and without their commitment, we wouldn't be here today. So a big thank you to them for that. The topping out of the PwC Pennant Building is also a symbol that the opening of the rest of the Phase 2 of Ballpark Village is coming. I won't repeat all the details on the remaining schedule that Bill went through, but I will note that we're just over a year from the final milestone of Phase 2, the opening of One Cardinal Way, and the building's already over 30% leased. Another incredible testament to the interest of people in this market, in downtown, and in being part of the Cardinals experience. For any of you out there who want your choice of apartment, I would suggest you move quickly. One of the elements of this project that we're most proud of is the variety of local partnerships and the extent of local involvement, from design to construction to where we believe our ultimate tenant mix will end up. And as part of that focus on local involvement, we're extremely happy to say that we in PERIC are well on our way to exceeding our inclusion goals by a healthy margin. These aren't just goals for us in the Cardinals, they're absolute requirements, and PERIC has done a fantastic job in sharing that vision and helping us achieve it. On that note, I'm happy to introduce Howard Hayes, PERIC's Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, to speak in more detail about the construction of this project and the fantastic team of local partners that PERIC has put together.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I am Howard Hayes, Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion for PERIC Corporation, and I have brief prepared remarks for you today. But first, thank you again, Nick, and thank you to the Cardinals and the Cordish companies for inviting me here today to speak on behalf of PERIC Corporation. I am proud to be one of the voices of the minority business community, and it is important that they have a voice on this platform with you today. I would like to recognize Mayor Cruson for her leadership in the area of inclusion, and thank her for assigning a dynamic team of professionals from SLDC and Slate. I see we have Otis Williams in the audience. Hello, Otis. They work with us in terms of oversight for this project. Also, we at PERIC look forward to continually working with the leadership of the Board of Aldermen, and I see its president is here with us today. Okay. Board of Aldermen President Lewis Reed. The Ballpark Village Advisory Team, please, members of the advisory team that are here today, raise your hand. And leaders in the African American, minority, and nonprofit community to create jobs and business opportunities on this project. At PERIC, we believe that our workforce must represent our community. The goal of MBE-WBE program here at Ballpark Village is to provide maximum opportunity for minority and women-owned firms to participate in all aspects of this project. We recognize the need to mentor and grow strong, independent MBE-WBE vendors and to enhance their prominence in our industry. Our teams here strive every day to create innovative initiatives to remove barriers and build capacity for diverse companies. We embrace aggressive MBE-WBE participation goals and consider their achievement a badge of corporate honor. Here at Ballpark Village is only becoming a reality because of the Cardinals and the Cordish companies' support for diversity and inclusion as a core component of their company's culture too. Success on this project is being achieved through aggressive outreach to every segment of this community. Our emphasis is placed on creating opportunities that are consistent with the contracting capacity and expertise of minority firms. We are holding all subcontractors participating in this project to the same standard. It is important that we are bringing our MWBE firms long-term value and helping them build their people assets, operating procedures, and the bottom line, their revenues. Our ultimate goal with this project is to transfer PERIC industry relationships, knowledge, and technology by providing on-site coaching and technical assistance to the MWBE contractors on our team. I would like to recognize some of the outstanding firms that are partnering with us on this project. They are Lou Brock Mechanical, TD4 Electrical, Abner Engineering, and Penn Services. Thank you. They are deserving of your applause. Now, if I may, let me share with you our team's measures of success. As it relates to contracts for minority and women-owned businesses, out of $169 million to date, total contract work, 32.3% is being completed by minority businesses. We are exceeding the goal of 25% participation. This equates to $42.2 million in contracts to minority-owned businesses. Out of the same $169 million of total contracts, 7.8% are being completed by women-owned businesses, exceeding the goal, once again, exceeding the goal of 5% participation. This equates to $13.2 million in contracts to women-owned businesses. With regard to workforce inclusion, as of today, we have had over 60,000 hours of minority workforce participation, over 10,000 hours of female workforce participation, over 30,000 hours from city residents, and over 40,000 hours have been performed by apprentices. So St. Louis is working. These numbers will continue to grow as additional scopes of work are added to these projects. Finally, let there be no doubt we owe our success to the countless hours of support and counsel from our key community partners, BUD, MOCAN, ABCA, Better Family Life, and the Heartland Black Chamber. And to those organizations, thank you all very much. I would like to thank PERG's leadership, its president, Keith Wolkoff. Keith, would you mind raising your hand, please? Our project managers, our compliance team, and our leadership across all departments for their commitment to the success of this project in the area of diversity and inclusion. And if I may take a bit of privilege, Paul, please raise your hand. Paul is the project executive assigned to this. Keith has faith in you, and so do I. Some of you may be asking what the tree on the beam represents. Today, it is a tradition to attach an evergreen tree to the beam that will be raised and placed at the highest point of a building. The tree symbolizes good luck and prosperity for the future occupants of the building. With that, I'd like to introduce one of the future occupants of this building, Mr. John Treverdick, Managing Partner of the Missouri Market at PwC. John, please.
Thanks, Howard. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hi, welcome everybody. So my name is JT. I'm the office managing partner of PwC here in St. Louis. I want to start with 3 thank yous. The first one is I'd really like to thank everybody from PERIC and anybody who has had anything to do with building this amazing building. We are very, very appreciative, so join me in a round of applause. The second is I'd like to thank the Cardinals and Cordish and the city of St. Louis. Without the 3 of you and those organizations, we wouldn't be here. We really appreciate your investment into downtown St. Louis. It means a lot to us, so thank you very much. And the third one's personal. We've got about 100 PWC people here in the audience, and I just want to thank you. I enjoy being your team member. I enjoy working with you, and I can't wait to go home with you here. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. So 2 things I want to cover. First thing I want to cover is why do we pick Ballpark Village? I think the best way I could describe it is take a look. Who wouldn't want to be part of that? We went into Bill's office to understand what he and the Cordish group was going to do early on in their process, and they laid out what it was going to be, the building, the amenities, the apartments, the gym, everything, the hotel. I mean, we just fell in love with the concept from the very get-go, and I think we were in from the beginning. So that's why we chose it for one main reason. There's lots of them, but the second one is equally important to us. Up until the time I met Bill and we started talking about Ballpark Village, I had done a significant amount of work about where we would relocate our home for PricewaterhouseCoopers. We've been in the same building since 1982, and we gave some real thought to where we should be and the people experience we should have. I learned a lot during that process. But one of the things that, at the end of the day, that mattered the most was our commitment to downtown St. Louis. To me, it was really, really important, and I feel great about that decision that we're remaining downtown St. Louis. It's a big part of who I am, what I do for work, and it's important for PwC's commitment to be down here. So that was probably one of the main drivers. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our office, and I'll be quick here, but I want to tell you 2 things about our office building. So we've got the 10th and the 11th floor. We're almost done designing it. We've got a really neat design inside. We've got conference rooms. We've got an open floor plan. We're going to have artists from St. Louis. We're going to have a history wall of the city of St. Louis. We were founded around the World's Fair in St. Louis, and so we're going to draw that history all the way from that time into this building. On the 11th and 10th floor in the southeast corner where you look over the ballpark, we're going to have open floor plan with a stairwell in between. So that's going to be our indoor entertainment space when we want to have client meetings, when we want to have team meetings. No offices, no desks. It's reception area, it's game room area, and it's a place for our team to feel a sense of community. Lastly, what I'm really excited about the building is partway through the process, we decided that we were going to put a rooftop deck on top of the building. So we've got 4,000 square feet in the southeast corner. It's going to have a fire pit, some all-weather furniture. It's going to have a pergola. It's going to be decked out in a really cool way. It's going to be the place to hang out downtown. So I think enhances Ballpark Village, and we're proud to be doing that. The last thing I'll say, and Bill, this one's for you. I think we can agree that the P in PwC stands for the Pennant Building, but I think we should also agree that the WC should stand for World Championships. We're excited about being part of the PwC Pennant Building, and thank you very much. What I'd like to do right now is I'd like to introduce our co-tenant, Butcher Joseph. So this is Paul Tyson. Please join me in welcoming Paul.
Thank you, JT, and thanks to Bill and the Cordishes. We're very excited to be a part of the action in the downtown area. And this actually marks an important milestone in Butcher Joseph's history as well. About 8 years ago, Butcher Joseph started as a few investment bankers around a kitchen table. Fast forward, it's now a full-service family of firms providing investment banking, private equity, asset management, and valuation. And much of that growth has been linked to our St. Louis relationships. We've outgrown our current space in Clayton, and as we look to the future, we wanted to create something that reflected our energetic, dynamic culture and provided room for our ping pong table and golden tee machine. Kozak Commercial Real Estate represented us in our search for a new space. And when we saw the plans for Ballpark Village, we fell in love. We're thrilled to be able to deepen our relationship with the downtown business community, and we can't imagine a better place to call home. Now, if you join me in welcoming our next speaker, the Honorable Mayor, Lyda Krewson.
Good morning. I think this is a very exciting day. This is one of the best things you get to do if you're the mayor of St. Louis. Come to openings of new buildings. Oh, thank you. JT, thank you. Thank you to the entire PwC team who's here today. Let me see if all the folks who work for PwC here. Here. I love that. Thank you all. Let me just say, I'm an accountant by training. We never had ping pong. We never had free food, so I think it's much better today. So, good for you guys. I am really excited also about the news of having Butcher Joseph in downtown. That is going to be transformative, I think, for them, and it's a real asset for our city. Thank you to the DeWitts, the Cordishes, all the local leaders who you've heard about, our economic development partners. Thanks to all of you for your commitment to this project as well. We can see already how Ballpark Village Phase 1 is impacting the pulse of downtown, and we can't wait for Phase 2. What an exciting timeline, Bill, that you shared with us this morning. Over the next year, I think we'll all be back here for a lot more of these events. I hope we have order up the weather for the next one, too. So we've heard so far a topping out ceremony is a chance to mark a major milestone in construction progress. It's a chance also to recognize the contributions of the men and women from the skilled trades, from Parrott Corporation, and all of their subs who have built this tower. It's a chance to celebrate the contributions of a diverse workforce, as well as minority and women-owned businesses. Howard, thanks for all those stats. We appreciate that. We know how important that is. So let's take just a minute here to give everyone a round of applause for your work on this project through a pretty cold and wet winter. So maybe a little applause for everybody. There is tremendous momentum in downtown St. Louis. As you can see, there's cranes right behind us. There's construction dumpsters on the curbs. There's jackhammering or sawing, whatever that equipment is, right behind us, and we are almost there. So with office space, retail, and residential, the village is coming along quite nicely. And with that, I'd like to just say, turn the program back over to Dan McLaughlin for the best part of the program today. If you look right above you, that's one of those cranes I was talking about. Thanks to all of the workers who have worked here. Thanks to the folks that are behind me here. We appreciate your work. Thank you all for being here today. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well, you? All right. Thank you, Mayor. Following the event, everyone is invited inside for a luncheon. Want to make sure that everybody knows that. And before we raise the beam, we want to take some photos, and for those in the media, want to get some video as well. So everybody up here on stage, exit this way. Those are the stairs right there. We're going to line you up with the beam right over there.